pilot? What's a pilot?
Well, the way they pick TV shows is they make one show. That show's called a pilot. Then they show that one show to the people who pick shows. And on the strength of that one show, they decide if they want to make more shows.
It's showtime!
What have you done? What have you done?
People need dramatic examples to shake them out of apathy.
God.
He said the age of heroes would never come again.
It has to.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
It's your responsibility! You're not prepared for this!
I'm working on it!
This show, it's gonna be incredible.
Welcome to, what was it, the 4th episode? I didn't write down my
It's
notes.
been so long, I don't even know.
Let's see, we did the catching up with the pandemic, and now the pandemic's over. So then we had Last Action Hero, and now there's a 4K of Last Action Hero with everything we wanted. And then episode 3 was Constantine, which is on HBO Max, hopefully. Hopefully I'm not lying. I'm sure it'll be back on there.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that's like, it's always on something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I noticed there's a lot of things on HBO Max where I'm like, oh, I don't have to rush anymore, because there was a time where I rushed to do When Harry Met Sally before it left. And now it's back on there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I have noticed with HBO Max and also with Criterion Channel, like, both of those kind of will have things that'll kind of like, they'll go away for like a month or two, or maybe like, you know, a little bit longer, but then they'll come back.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that is, but
Yeah, it's weird, because like the Harry Met Sally one like literally just left, and now it's back. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't have to worry about that.
yeah.
Because I remember racing to watch that Keanu Reeves movie. Oh, God, what was it called? You watched it, too.
Oh, the one with Aunt Becky?
Yes, Aunt Becky. Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
amazing. She's so hot in that
It's
movie.
like, it's like a night. It's like a night something. A night.
happened
It's
one
not a
night.
night to remember.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I'm sure people are yelling at us because they're all huge Keanu fans.
I'm literally sitting in front of my computer, and I could just look it up on IMDb, and I don't know why I'm not doing that.
Do it. We'll just edit it in.
That Keanu movie was It was called The Night Before.
Oh, The Night Before. That's right. Oh, my God. They need to
Yes.
release that. I think Shout Factory needs to release that with like 3 o'clock high.
Yes, they need to do a Blu-ray of that.
Yes.
That would be amazing. You know what's funny is, like, have you ever listened to Patrick Willems? Like, I guess him and his friends have a podcast about Keanu.
Oh, no, I didn't hear. I thought you were going to talk about the one where they talk about the behind the scenes of his videos, and where the guy's like, yeah, your video was good. And then you could just see Patrick Willems like silently screaming. Did you ever watch those?
I have watched a couple of those.
It's so funny because the Asian guy's like, yeah, your video was good. And like Patrick Willems is like, yeah, you know, it was really great. He's like, yeah, no, it was good. And you just,
yeah, no, it was good. I put like a month of my time into that. Yeah, it was all right. I've seen better.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. If you want to watch our finale that we've wasted everyone's time on, you have to subscribe to Nebula, please.
Oh wow. Yeah. Man, it's like I don't want to like I don't want to dive too far into that.
Yeah, don't dive too far too. But yeah.
But I will say, like, I feel bad for the guy because I think he genuinely got a lot of, like, I think he genuinely took a lot of shit for that because, like, he got on Twitter. I don't know whether you saw it, but, like, he got on Twitter and he was like, let me explain myself, like a series of let me explain myself tweets.
Oh, geez.
So I know that people were, like, getting on him for that. And it's like, man, I get it. It's like, I guess they're giving him money and like he wants to like make something that's really good.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is like, you've been doing these for like over a year now and all of them are free.
Yeah.
And now at the very end, you're going to be like, oh, by the way, you got to pay for this.
Yeah.
It's like that. I mean, it doesn't, I'm not totally pissed off. Like I'm not like I'm never supporting Patrick Willems again.
Oh yeah, no.
But it ticks me off a little bit.
Yeah.
And I saw the guy. I think his name is Dave Wiskus.
Yeah.
who's like his manager or whatever.
Yeah.
And plays himself in the dramatic segments. He posted something where it was like he was trying to say like it's like people complaining about having to pay for Endgame, but like it's not like that at all, because Marvel didn't give you 10 years of movies for free and then make you pay for Endgame.
Yeah. If anything,
so it's not the same.
Yeah. If anything, it should have been like it'll be on Nebula exclusive for like a year, and then or like a couple months, then it'll go to YouTube. Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because that's I follow this guy on YouTube called Matt Draper. And he mainly does comic book videos.
I've seen him
but
pop
he
up on
also
my
does
subscriptions.
Yeah, but he also does like movie videos. So it's like to be honest with you, I kind of just skip the comic book videos because I don't really read comic books.
Yeah.
But I'll watch all the movie videos because he does a great job with them.
Yeah.
But what he does is like, he'll put his videos up for like a week or two on Patreon first.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're a Patreon member, you get to watch that video for like a week to 2 weeks before anybody else, gets to see it.
Yeah.
And then it always ends up on YouTube. And it's like that I could understand, that I could accept. But saying like you have to sign up for Nebula, and yes, I realize that it's very inexpensive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like, really?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
it's not the worst thing in the world, and to be honest with you, like I will probably do it because I think it's like $3 or $4.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like a little stick,
Yeah. It's like that meme where they put the stick in the spoke and they fall off it. Yeah. It just kind of reminded me though, because it's been so long. This is how long like we've been watching all these different videos on YouTube and stuff. But it reminded me like the Plinkett review. Like episode 3 had like a little extra thing, but that extra thing was never uploaded to YouTube. It was to their blip, and that was way back in the day when they had blip. Nowadays, I think the little short film is on YouTube now, so no one even knows. Like if you're diving into Red Letter Media right now, you probably have no idea that's how it was. But back then, you had to go to blip to watch the the little scene where Mr. Plinkett's on stage like "Mah," or whatever. I think Higgins is in that. Josh Higgins or Jim? What's his name? Oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm a huge Red Letter Media fan. I forgot his first name. Tim Higgins. Oh my God.
Tim Higgins. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's so funny and also so creepy.
He is so funny, but like, man, he is an absolute drunk. I love it. Oh my gosh.
I'm assuming you've seen these, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Have you seen the ones that Tim Higgins did with Jack, where it was like they have the beers?
Yeah, pass me a beer. I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah. I mean, the further along you go, it's like you get the point, but it's like the first couple of ones are pretty funny.
Oh yeah, they're fun. Yeah, they're good. They're definitely good.
There was something else I was gonna say about that, but now I don't remember what it is. Anyway.
Okay.
I remember what it was. So I had watched the night before, and I knew that he had a Keanu podcast, so I was like, well, I wonder if they had done an episode of that. Because I feel like that is a movie that like I had literally never heard of until I saw it pop up on HBO. And I don't even know why I chose to watch it, because to be honest with you, like in the past, a lot of movies like that, I would just look at and be like, some other time, like maybe later.
Yeah.
But for some reason I watched it and I ended up really enjoying it, actually. It's not Shakespeare, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah, it's like the kids' version of After Hours.
Yeah, exactly. And then I watched this movie called Permanent Record where Keanu is the lead, and the sort of rundown is that like Keanu is in a class of graduating seniors, and his like best friend ends up committing suicide like literally right before they graduate, like maybe a month before they graduate. And it sort of like shakes this group of people or whatever. And so I went back to the podcast.
Yeah.
I listened to the Permanent Record episode as well.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it like literally in the very beginning, Patrick Willems says something, he caveats it some way like this is going to be bleak as shit or something like that. It's like, feel free to turn it off now or something like that.
Yeah.
Because the movie is like, I mean, it's good, but at the same time, it's like a very serious movie.
Yeah.
Or like a relatively serious movie. And I tweeted something along the lines of like quoting that and being like, I'm gonna keep on or something like that. And he tweeted back to me, he was like, my God, why did you watch that film? And I was like, actually, I really liked Permanent Record.
Yeah.
Him and his friends did not like it, I think, probably because it was very like out of character. Like they were looking for more of like the speed,
like a meme version of Keanu. Like
Point Break, Bill and Ted, like they were looking for that Keanu, and like, Permanent Record is definitely not that.
Yeah.
But it is a great movie.
Yeah.
So if anybody listening is interested in that, I do recommend it.
Is that on HBO Max?
It is not.
Okay.
I think I'm trying to remember. I think I rented it on. I think I had to rent it on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
That was like literally the only place that had it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Just want to say to the audience that this episode is not sponsored by HBO Max, but I highly recommend HBO Max. That's
Yeah, I mean,
it's worth every
it
penny.
It would be awesome if they would kick us some money, because I will do nothing but talk highly about HBO Max.
Yeah.
People, I remember when it came out, people were kind of like, well, why would you get this? It's like, I mean, it does have HBO stuff on it, but like it doesn't really have that much else. But they have massively expanded their offerings just in the last year.
Yes.
Because I know when it did come out, it was kind of light. Like they had like, they had some movies, and they of course had like all the HBO originals, but it wasn't the vast catalog that they have now, because now they have like the Turner Classic stuff, Warner Brothers, DC. It's like, I mean, they've expanded it a lot.
Adult
so it's
Swim.
Cartoon
Adult
Network,
Swim, Looney Tunes. My God, like everything's there.
So to me, it's well worth the whatever it is, $14.99 I think a month.
It's cheaper than going to a movie, which is, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And they have all the new movie, or not all the new movies, but they have a lot of new movies on there.
Yes, the Warner releases. Yep, and that alone is worth it by itself. Like, oh my God, like I still haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to at some point. The Mortal Kombat, because it's like I don't want to see that in the theater, but I'm willing to watch it on my phone on HBO Max. Oh yeah, so it's to wrap up the Patrick Willems thing. I just found it funny because I had to share that tweet with George Lucas laughing, but I've never cared for the storyline ever. I'm one of those people who looks right to the comments to see if anyone left the timestamp to when the review continues or goes.
Oh, okay.
I'm one of those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're the guy that like he made the card for at the very beginning that says the essay starts at this timestamp.
Absolutely, because I would just skim until the thing started.
Yeah. I'm like, at first I was like, oh, this is kind of cute, but like I don't really care about it.
Yeah.
But there was a point that I got to where I was like, this is actually kind of interesting. Like it is kind of getting interesting. And now at this point I'm like, oh, I do want to see what happens. So he did get me eventually.
He got you. He gets everybody. That Patrick Willems. That Patrick H. Willems.
He'll get you eventually.
He'll get you. So, I don't know if you wrote down topics. I didn't write any. I just assumed, like, we're just going to spitball, man. We're just going to roll with it. This I Ching, whatever, man. We just got to roll with it.
Well, I will say that I am interested in talking about WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, if you're interested in talking about that.
Let's dive into that. Let's get into that.
Especially Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because I do have thoughts and opinions about that. So
like, they're not fresh in my mind, but I do have opinions on them. So we'll see where the conversation goes.
What I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are on that, and then I'll kind of bounce off of you.
I thought it was okay, and it was one of those ones where I didn't watch it when it was like every week, because I'm not into that. I think I watched like the first 2 episodes. Not even. I watched episode 1 and the first episode, first episode 1 and episode 2, but like first 5 minutes of episode 2, I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing. What they're doing is they're building these characters that had no personality. Nothing in the films, like absolutely nothing. I know people love the movies where they're like, "Oh yeah, WandaVision's," like, nah, it didn't work for me. You know what I mean? They're like blank slates in those movies. They're just like, "I love you," and "I love you," and it's like, yeah, I don't see the love. You're telling me you're in love. I don't see it. You know what I mean? It's telling, not showing.
Yeah.
So the show, it's like 5 minutes, episode 2. I'm like, okay, this is what it's doing. I don't care. So I didn't watch it, and then I watched. I think after it was over, like maybe a week or 2 after it ended, I went to watch it, and it was exactly that. Like, it was nothing more and nothing less than that to me, in my opinion, you know? And there was, like, some things where I'm like, well, what happened to that? Like, I don't know what happened to the Bumblebee man who came out of the street. I don't know if he died or just became part of the people, like the village. And then I didn't understand. I'm like, okay, so Wanda didn't steal Vision's body from the morgue. She created Vision from her own thoughts, because the Vision that was still in the morgue becomes the White Vision, and then like White Vision flies off, and now he has the memories of fake Vision, I'm assuming. I think that's what happened. And then I also found it funny that it's been 5 years since everyone vanished and came back, and yet they're still working on the body of Vision in the morgue. It's like you think they would have done that 5 years earlier. And oh god, there were some other things. Like, I don't know. I don't think I liked the Agatha plot, and I thought it was creepy what she did to the village. Because they're like, oh my god, if you're going to keep doing this, kill me now. I'm like, oh my god, that's awful. And then the thing that comes in later, and spoilers for Winter Soldier and Falcon, but like I find it funny that Falcon can't get a loan from the bank, but yet Vision has a plot of property in New Jersey. It's like, okay. So,
well, you know, he was first string Avenger.
he got more paycheck.
Yeah, and Falcon was second string.
Yeah, Vision made some investments, and then like, what do you call it? He got paid. He made sure he got paid, even though he's an android.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, other than that, I think the show was just to build characters that had no character. And then actually, in actuality, you know, like reality, that they don't really matter in the long run, because I'm sure the movies won't even touch what happened in the TV show. Other than the Marvels, because I think that Marvel girl, Rambo, she's going to be part of the Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Rambo, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which was also silly. Like, she got superpowers by walking through a wall. Another kind of like, I got my powers by accident, or, you know. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. So sort of like Captain Marvel, where it was like, yeah.
I got my powers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I know that the TV shows, the whole point of the TV shows has always been to like fill out the things that they couldn't really do between movies.
Yeah.
Fill out the stories. Mm-hmm. But the problem is like, you kind of needed a TV show like between, you know, I guess Captain America Civil War and Infinity War.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's exactly like you said, you're just being told that they're in love.
Yes.
And you're when Infinity War comes around, it's like, okay, these two are in love now. You know, you have to accept it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, okay, I guess. I mean, you know.
I don't know. I like the way you said, like, I guess. All right, we're going. We're in it, man.
I'm just along for the ride, I guess.
I mean, if you say they're in love, I'll take your word for it, man. Oh man, yeah.
You know, so it's like, so by the time they do get to WandaVision, you know, it's sort of like, I feel like WandaVision expects, and I just want to say this as a caveat.
Yes.
I ended up loving WandaVision. I did not like it at first, but I ended up loving it by the end of it.
It's like I thought it was okay.
I'm
I didn't hate it. I know I gave like a scathing review, but I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it at the end.
Well,
yeah.
You know, I will say that, like, I think a lot of people had mixed feelings about it.
Yes.
You know, so you know, that's you know, you're perfectly welcome to your opinion on that.
Yeah.
I ended up loving it, but it took probably a full 3 episodes.
Yeah, you had to get to episode 5, right? Yeah.
Because the first couple episodes were confusing.
Yes.
I mean, it was just like I don't really know what's happening, and like the story, like you eventually understand what's happening because they tell you,
yes.
You know, ultimately.
Yeah.
But it just takes until, like you said, the 4th or 5th episode.
Yeah.
For you to be like, oh, okay, now I'm starting to understand.
It felt like a movie that was re-edited into a TV show.
Yes. Yeah. Which honestly kind of like, when I think about that, I'm kind of like, it would have been interesting for them to do that as a movie, you know, and to see how that might have, you know, played out.
Yeah. I know why they didn't do a movie, because it's just business. They want people to keep their subscriptions, so you have to keep it for all those weeks, so you don't just cancel it.
Yeah, well, that's why. Yeah, that's why there was like a week or 2 break between WandaVision and, you know, Falcon, and then like, you know, Loki is starting up
in June,
you know, pretty soon.
I can't believe
so it's like,
June.
Yeah, it's like, yo, you got to keep that subscription.
Yeah,
it's still coming.
Loki!
You know, Loki. So, dude, I remember. I'm gonna date myself here, but like, I remember when like TV shows would start up in the fall and they would take like a 2 or 3 week break, you know, over the Christmas holidays because no one was like really watching it anyway.
Yeah.
Then they would come back in the spring, and then they would stop in like maybe like mid-May or something, and there was nothing new on for the entire summer because they knew that everybody was going to be out doing stuff. Yep. And now it's like every week there's some new TV show starting somewhere.
There's no break,
you know?
It never ends.
Yeah. It's just like they keep bringing in the dump trucks and just pouring it on you,
All
you know?
this different content. Oh my god.
Yeah. But, you know, that was a big problem for me with WandaVision, was like it didn't feel like it was that their relationship was particularly earned.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, it also didn't feel that way in Infinity War and Endgame either.
Yeah.
But you know, I managed to get over it. I think the reason that I managed to get over it was because I just liked the way that they went about it, and I know that a lot of people didn't like that. The sort of like structure that they built up of like going through the different generations of television.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I grew up on reruns of Leave It to Beaver, you know, My Three Dads, The Monkees, you know, Beverly Hillbillies. So it's like when I was a little kid, like I saw those shows all the time, the black and white sitcoms and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And even though like the first couple of episodes were confusing, it was still interesting to me, almost as just like an art project.
Yes, just to recreate it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it did eventually kick in where I was more fully invested into it, probably in like the 4th or 5th episode.
Yeah.
But you know, there are a lot of like weird, I have like weird feelings about that show. I love it, but at the same point in time, it's like I'm just like I feel like this could have been a lot better.
Yeah, it felt like a first draft or something. It really did.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the idea. Okay, we'll film it. You know, it didn't sound like, okay, let's talk about this first.
Yeah, exactly. And also the fact that, like, you know, it felt like, I know that there's not going to be another one, you know, or even if there is another one, it's not going to be like that. They wouldn't do a thing like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just kind of felt like it's hard to explain, but in a way, like, it just kind of felt like a tease. You know,
yeah, and not only that,
like
I felt like it was definitely, like it cut off any connection to the X-Men movies. Like literally, they hired the guy from the X-Men movies only to say, "Fuck you guys, we're not touching those movies. They are dead as Dillinger. They're not coming back."
Yeah. I mean, I definitely see that, but you know, like Kevin Feige, you know, once they bought Fox, Kevin Feige was like, all right, clean slate.
Yep.
You know,
and this was definitely
we're going in clean.
It was a middle finger though, because they used that same actor that everyone loved. You know, it was a good olive branch. You know, like, oh, you know, that guy. They're going to connect the universes. You know, multiverse. You know, they're going to open like the whole thing. And nope, it was just a freaking like boner joke.
which kind of makes it even worse because, you know, now they're talking about multiverse in Spider-Man where they're going to bring back you know, Tobey Maguire and possibly Andrew Garfield and
I have no doubt in my
you know,
mind
all these other
cameos.
Yeah. I don't know, you know. I still stick behind the thing that I said a long time ago, which is like, to me, Marvel basically ended with Endgame.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And anything else that they do, like, I'll watch if I feel like it. If I don't feel like it, I just won't watch it.
Yeah.
You know? But I did want to watch WandaVision, and I did want to see Falcon and Winter Soldier because I do like those characters. Yeah. And if you want to transition, I don't know if you want to transition into that. Do you have anything else that you wanted to say about WandaVision?
WandaVision? Let's see. I think there was like one more other than the middle finger to the X-Men series. I think it's fine. It was good because the thing that really got me excited because I ordered the hot toy, but they finally got the Scarlet Vision look from the comics. I was like, oh man, she finally got there. That's awesome. So that's my positive. Like, it took 10 years to get to it, but they finally did it. Because I always like that look. I always like that look of Wanda. And other than that, I think, you know, it was okay. You know, I don't think I'd watch it again. Unless they made like a movie version, maybe I'd watch it again. But yeah, other than that, no. But I totally agree with you with the next 10 years of Marvel movies. I'll watch if I want to watch. Like Black Widow, I'm iffy on right now. I only want to support it because I love Florence, and I love David Harbour. That's the only reason why I'd want to see it. And also because it's COVID, it's just boring. So maybe I just see it because out of boredom. And then I definitely want to see Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange is like legitimately probably my favorite Avenger now. Because his movie is like I think I told you this on Twitter, but it's like Doctor Strange is like the low key like best Avenger movie, in my opinion.
Yes, yeah, you said that. Yeah.
I really do like Doctor Strange, that original movie, even though it's kind of like Tony Stark Point 2, but like it's okay. It works. It's really good.
Yeah, I think that was a big part of my original problem with that movie when I saw it in the theaters. Was it just felt like Tony Stark 2.0.
Yeah.
You know. But I think we had a conversation about this. But when I went back and did my Marvel rewatch at the beginning of this year, I did like Doctor Strange a lot more than I did in the theaters. So I'm interested to see the new one. Yes. I wish that Scott Derrickson was still doing it, but with Sam Raimi doing it, that could be even more interesting.
Yeah, I think he'll go even crazier with the visuals, honestly. Yeah. So I think you should start with the Winter Soldier because I started with WandaVision. So
okay.
I'll toss the ball to you.
Tossing the ball. So overall, I would say that I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I did not love it. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of different reasons, but the main reason why was, like, personally to me, I just thought it was too short. Like, I thought that they did not do a good enough job of building out the main characters in it. Mm-hmm. Both Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but also,
John Walker.
John Walker and Carly Morgenthau. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like any of them were really given arcs, like good enough arcs. Yeah. You set up John Walker in the beginning as, the new Captain America, and, they show him, how great he is and how he's trained and all this other stuff. Yeah. And then, like, one or two things happen and he kind of goes a little crazy and he takes the serum and he kills somebody, and then he kind of redeems himself at the end, and it's like it all happens so quickly. Yeah. And with Bucky, it's like they start him with this list of people that he's supposed to, like, make amends with. Yeah. And you even see the list. They show it to you at the beginning of the thing. He has maybe like one or two names crossed out.
And at the end, they're all crossed out.
And at the end, they're all crossed out. You don't see any of that. You have no idea when it happened. It all happens off screen. That's Marvel's big problem, is all the important stuff happens off screen.
Absolutely.
And, like, they set up him, hanging out with this older Asian guy who's like the father of the dude that he kills at the beginning. Yeah. And then spoiler alert, audience, in case you didn't know. But they show him hanging out with this guy, and then at the end they show him going to him, admitting what he did, and then before anything can happen, before there's a release, before the Asian guy can say anything or do anything, they cut away from it.
Yeah, they Brother Beared it.
Yes.
I don't know.
I've never seen Brother Bear, but I'm assuming that's and also, not in my personal opinion, not enough Zemo.
Why was he there? He was there for like one episode. He was like with those, those how you watch like a season like Blacklist with James Spader, and like one episode has like Ted Danson as some guy, and then Ted Danson disappears.
Yeah.
That's what it was, and it was so weird though because it's Zemo. And it's like why would you do this? He's like a really talented actor, and you do this. Why?
Yeah. I thought that he should have had more time. They should have developed his character more. I thought that, like, it would have been interesting to bring in Isaiah Bradley, I think. Yep. Is his name. Yep. The other Captain America. I thought it would have been interesting to explore him a little bit more. I feel like Falcon got a decent amount of development, but there's still room there. I mean, the show is about him. I mean, it's called Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it's really about the Falcon. Yeah. But yeah, I just feel like literally every character got shortchanged in this show.
Yes. So my opinion on it is, I think, just to break it down without going into too much of a rant, cut out the flag smashers. Absolutely, just cut it out. I don't need that. Keep it just about Falcon and Bucky. Because I remember that first episode thinking like, oh shit, not first episode, I should probably say a second episode? Maybe end of the first episode, because that first, 10-minute action scene, I could not give a fuck. Like, I didn't care about Falcon blowing up terrorists and chasing the helicopter. Mind shut off. Don't know what even that was about. Oh yeah, and that one guy was still alive. I remember my friends were like, well, what's that? The super fighter. What the fuck was his name? Like Balakov or whatever? The guy who looks like a G.I. Joe.
Yeah, the guy from Captain America Winter Soldier.
Yeah, like he's still around. And the reason why I'm saying, oh my god, why is he still around? Because it's literally been like 15, 20 years since Winter Soldier in their timeline. Oh, not 20 years. That's
well,
a little bit too much.
yeah.
10,
okay.
15 years, I should say.
Yeah, I was about to say it has not been that long, but then there's this time jump in Endgame. So
so it's like
that's probably true.
It's like 10, 15 years since Winter Soldier. So I'm surprised that guy's still alive in the job, like, you know, that world he lives in. I'm just shocked that he's still alive, because at the end of this one, doesn't he die or get shot? Like, easily.
I think so. I can't even remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so it's like, what the fuck? So, other than, cut out the Flag Smashers, focus on Bucky doing his list, focus on Sam doing his thing, because that would have been so great. I wanted to see, like, what happened with the boat, like, what was going on. Hell, I even thought, like, it was going to be like those old Lethal Weapon movies where they would have to go to the boat for the final action scene. You know, like they foiled the terrorist plot. And it's like, oh no, he's going after my family. So they got to go to the boat, and that boat like catches on fire or something, so they just have to learn to rebuild. You know, something like that, like a Lethal Weapon or something like that. I could totally imagine that happening. I also thought that it was very, like, Bucky and Falcon are assholes to John Walker for almost, like, no reason. I think they give, like, a reason, but they don't dive into it real deep. I think there's, like, a throwaway line, like, oh, he works with them, I don't want to work with him. You know what I mean? It was something.
Yeah.
It was like so like off the cuff. You'd like probably forget about like an episode or two. Like, why aren't they working with John Walker? They could just work with him and just make it easier instead of having to fight with him later on.
I feel like the reason that they were against him was they felt betrayed by the fact that because they had such a close relationship with Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
And so they felt betrayed that that the government basically just named a new Captain America as though that's like a title that you could just hand out to anybody.
There's that, but like to me, it's not John Walker's fault. Maybe that's what John Walker represents, but it's not his fault. They develop him too much for him to be, because like you could say that, but then have him represent the United States, But he doesn't represent the United States. He kind of represents himself at a certain point of the story. You know what I mean? Like, he becomes his own character. He's no longer Captain America. He's just a guy trying to do the right thing. Meanwhile, everyone around him hates him. And then he ends up snapping, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, John Walker is like a really complicated character. And I watch this channel every once in a while on YouTube called Screen Crush.
Yes.
Because they do a really good job. The guy who does that does a really good job at breaking down like all of the, Easter eggs and references and stuff like that for, shows like this.
Yeah.
Because like I don't read the comics, so it's like I don't understand all the little, I don't understand who Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in that show unless you tell me, because I've never read the comics.
Right.
But like, he talks in one of those episodes, he talks about John Walker, U.S. agent, and like some of the background on that and like how he was Captain America, and like there's a point where like he goes insane. And then like they strip away the Captain America title from him, and he becomes U.S. agent. So like as I was watching that show, I was watching the Screen Crush videos, and I feel like I understood John Walker better. But at the same time, I think I do agree with you to an extent. I think what it goes back to is like what I was saying earlier, where it's like all of these characters just got shortchanged on character development. Mm-hmm. It was like they said like, okay, we can only give you this many shows, right? So you have to like squeeze all of this story into this many shows. And they were like, okay, well, like normally, your character would follow this path and would hit these points. There's like 10 points that they would hit. And like, but we only have this many shows, so we got to knock out like 4 or 5 of those points.
Yeah.
And it's just like that the guy, I don't remember what his name is right now, but the guy who like wrote it and was like the showrunner and everything, he was Malcolm Spellman is his name. like, you know, he was sort of like widely praised by a lot of people that I follow on Twitter. But like, I'll be honest with you, like, I just don't think he did a very good job.
No, he didn't.
Like, the basics were there, but you should have taken it further. You should have had 2 to 4 more episodes where you could have developed that story, because everything in it happens too conveniently.
Yeah.
You know, John Walker is put out too conveniently. You know, he comes back too conveniently. You know, Bucky coming back into normal society happens too conveniently, and again, off screen.
Yeah.
You know, all this stuff happens off screen. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, he did this, and this, and it happened between like episode this and this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man, the whole point of us doing these TV shows is for you to be able to show it.
Yeah.
You know, it's for the audience to be able to take part in it and feel those feelings and connect with those characters. If you're doing it off screen, then what's the point? Yeah. We're just back to where we were with the movies.
And the thing that bothers me about the show, or I should say shows, because I think WandaVision sort of does this towards the end, is that they shouldn't try to be the movies. Don't go generic villain at the end. Just focus on the characters. Just build on the characters. Like, because like if you do what they did with Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think there's like mixed messages in there. Like in like one of the early episodes, Sam's walking down the street and they're like, "Oh man, it's Black Falcon," and he's like, "Oh, I'm not Black Falcon. You know, you're not Black Kid, right? You're just a kid. I'm just Falcon." But then like at the last episode, he says, "So you're the Black Captain America," and he's like, "Damn right." I was like, "Well,
yeah.
What happened? What's going on with the messaging?" And then like, I don't know, like Sam is supposed to be very kind to like helping soldiers out, like coping with like society. Remember that was his job. Like, oh yeah, that's my job. I go to the VA and help them, you know, settle with real life. But yet he treats Bucky like shit, and then he also treats John Walker like shit immediately after his friend got killed. Like his friend got killed, so he should say like, okay, John, we should, you know, talk about this. Let's settle this. But it's like, I'm going to take that shield, man. And they're both like that. Even Bucky's like, I'm going to take that shield. And we're going to kick your ass to take it. Meanwhile, they should have been just like, okay, let's just talk this out. Maybe they kind of did. They kind of did, right? But I think that they seemed very aggressive, like, we're going to take that shield if we have to, you know, kill you.
Yeah.
I think that's what I recall, because he runs just because he's freaked out, like what he did. And then, like, immediately Falcon and Bucky are like, we're going to kick your fucking ass. I don't know. There's just, like, they should just focus on the characters, make it smaller, like, build a relationship, like, even have, like, Bucky go on a couple of dates with that girl, learn it. And the reason why I said, they Brother Bared it. So let me just explain the plot to Brother Bear real quick. So, in Brother Bear, there's these 3 brothers. The youngest brother fails to tie up the food, so the food gets eaten by a bear. So all the brothers make fun of him, like, damn it, we just fished for all those, you know, fish, and now they're all gone. And he says, all right, I'm going to kill the bear. I'm going to kill the bear that took our fish. So he goes to kill the bear, and the bear accidentally kills the brother in an accidental way. So that younger brother gets turned into a bear, and then later on he becomes friends with, like, the little cub. And then you find out that cub, his mom, is the bear that he killed. So he has to explain to the cub, because he got turned into a bear. He can talk to the cub. But he explains that I killed your mom. But it's all done off screen. And it's exactly like that Bucky scene where he sits down and he says, I did something awful. And then, Brother Bear, I let you down. And then it's like montage of fades showing him explaining to Coda. And Coda's like, no, you didn't. And then runs away. And that's exactly what happened in Winter Soldier, where like Winter Soldier sits down and he says, I did something awful. And then like it shows like a little fade in, fade out, and then he leaves the apartment, and then the next day his book is all crossed out. Yeah. And it's just like, oh my god, this show, you could have just built on the characters and did so much. Like, just take it smaller. Just make it smaller, you know, instead of trying to compete with the movies, which is totally ridiculous to me. I don't know. It's like, don't compete with the movies. Just be your own thing. But I get it, because it all has to, you know, connect and look the same. Kind of going off topic, but you know how it all looks the same in the movies. I always find it funny because they're like, "Oh my God, we got the cinematographer for Captain Marvel too," and I'm like, "It's going to look like every other Marvel movie. It doesn't matter who they get as a cinematographer." You know, that's the thing that kind of sucks about these movies. Like, I almost feel like if Falcon and Winter Soldier looked like a Michael Mann movie, like if it looked like Collateral or something, where it's just like handheld digital, I think it would have been so awesome. I don't know, just give it like a unique look. Like when they go to that nightclub, I think it would have been so cool if it was just, you know, unsteady, handheld, gritty, darker lit. But in the show, it's all brightly lit. It looks like a scene from, you know, John Wick 3 and, you know, reverse shot. It's all kind of boring.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie version of Miami Vice?
Yes. It's been years, but yes, I have seen it.
That, like, I don't particularly like that movie.
Yes.
But I will say that has like one of the better like club scenes that I've seen, where they go in and it's like it's actually lit like a club.
Yeah.
Like it actually looks like a club.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a lot of movies and TV shows and stuff where it's like you walk in a club and everything's like brightly lit and you can see everything and it's like there's no club that looks like that in real life.
Right. And the other thing is, I'm surprised, like, they've been gone for 5 years, so it does make sense. But, like, Falcon never puts two and two together that Peggy Carter's daughter is one of the biggest crime lords out there.
Oh,
I don't know.
Well, that whole thing. I mean, that's another tangent right there. That whole thing that should have been the second season of this show.
Squeeze it in.
They shouldn't have been trying to shoehorn it into this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there should have been like they could have had her in the show and like she helps them out or whatever, but like the audience doesn't find out and it's not really set up until the second season.
Yeah.
Because to me it's like the first season was about, you know, them trying to basically set things right and John Walker and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. The Sharon Carter thing was just like them it's like a double meat sandwich at Subway. You know, it's like you get enough meat on the regular sandwich.
But this is just too
you know,
much.
the double meat is just like a colon explosion. You know, it's like you're putting
it's that
too
huge
much
meat
in there.
sandwich. Are you talking about the one that Bill Oakley was talking about? The Meat Mountain.
The Meat Mountain. Oh, that's Arby's. The Meat Mountain.
I think the Meat Mountain is a better example for Falcon because you got the chicken, you got ham, you got turkey.
It's literally all the meats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you didn't need all the meat, all you need is a quarter pounder from McDonald's. That's all you need. You don't need the Meat Mountain from Arby's.
Exactly, and that way, like when the second season comes around, and they may just be like, "Oh, we never planned on doing a second season," but you could have done a second season.
Yeah.
But like when the second season comes around, and somebody puts that other sandwich in front of you, you didn't eat the Meat Mountain, so you're like, "Okay, cool, I'm ready to eat another sandwich."
Yeah.
But because you ate the Meat Mountain, you're like, I kind of feel like I'm going to puke. I don't know if I want any more food.
I think that's why there was a break between Loki and Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes. I'm sure that's why, too, is because Disney probably realized, like, if we keep trying to shove this down people's throats, like, they're just going to not stop watching, you know?
Yeah. And one more thing I want to mention before we move on to a different topic.
One more thing.
One more thing. They bungled the hero reveal suit of the Falcon at the end. They bungled it. That was the worst. That was the worst hero shot I've ever seen. The suit is wrinkly. It didn't look cool. It was awkward how he came in and rolled. Oh God, they bungled it. Holy shit.
I thought the suit itself just doesn't look very good in general. Like the design of it. Like his old outfit looks a lot better.
Yeah. I think it's just like kind of going to a different subject. I think the subject I'm going to talk about next, but like it's like Zack Snyder movies, how like if you oversaturate and brighten it up, it doesn't look right. So I just feel like, but then again, I don't think anything could have saved the Falcon suit because it just looked. I think it was either too big up for him or he wasn't big enough to fill it. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about the Falcon suit, or are you talking about his new Captain America suit?
Captain America suit. I'll call it Captain America suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wasn't big enough for it, or maybe he was too small. I don't know. Maybe they made it too big for him.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of like padded it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a little bit too much.
Yeah.
You know?
Because the Hot Toys version looks great, but I think that's because it looks small and they sculpt it to make it look good. But like in the movie, it's just like too much material.
Yeah, I agree.
It's 100%. almost like Turbo Man, you know? Because you get in Turbo Man, it's just like rubber on top of like a latex suit, you know? And they could have done something better. Like they should have done. They should have went the Batman. What's it called? The Dark Knight. You know how the second suit is like all like like fabric, and then they only put like those little material on there to make it look like muscles or whatever. That's what they should have done for the Falcon's Captain America suit.
Yeah.
Because it looks like they just put like a big giant rubber jacket on him. It's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, that's my final thought on Falcon Winter Soldier. I don't think I have any other things that are deeper, other than I really like John Walker. I thought that he was a great character. And I would watch a Michael Mann movie based on him, That'd be great.
I have to say, like, I really liked the whole concept of him building his own shield.
Yes.
Like after they had taken back the other one. I thought that was interesting. There was like a couple of random things in that TV show that I thought were interesting, but again, they just like introduced it and then walked away from it.
Yes.
So
yeah, there was like a lot. That's the whole show. It was just like you introduced all these things and he didn't do anything with it.
Yeah. But to be perfectly honest with you, man, like I'm kind of with you. Like I would have been fine if this was a show about the two of those guys basically just like figuring out how to live their lives, in that post-return world.
Yes.
And just like doing the like the hard leg work that the movies can't do.
Yeah.
I would have been very happy with that, but unfortunately that's not what we got. We got like a little sprinkles of it, but there's like the saying where it's like, life is a journey. You can't look at life as like an end goal. You have to look at it as a journey. And that's, to me, that's Marvel's overall problem is they're always focused on, we've got this many movies to get to this point. In the first three phases, it was, we have a certain number of movies per year over a certain number of years to get to Endgame. Like that Infinity War and Endgame are like, that's where we're ending up at. Yeah. So everything always had to hop, skip, and jump towards that.
Right.
And it's like, I mean, there's probably like 5 movies, I would say, in those first 3 phases that I think are like genuinely and truly amazing movies, and I love them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the rest of them are just sort of okay.
They're basically these TV shows, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like Thor: The Dark World is totally a season of Disney Plus TV.
Yes. I mean, that's what it should have been. It shouldn't have been a movie. Because literally the only reason that Thor: Dark World exists was they had to introduce that one
stone.
That one stone. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't need a movie to do that. I'm sorry, but like you didn't need to waste a whole movie on that.
Right, yeah. So that's our thoughts. And on that note, so
that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end that one. So I'm going to toss the ball for you. For what's the next subject?
Oh man, okay.
What is it?
Yikes! I didn't think this through.
I'll just go with that while you're thinking about it. Something.
Okay.
The Speed 4K. What the fuck? That was like, seriously, because when they said Speed was coming out 4K, I'm like, why? But then I saw it.
Why not?
I know, it's like, I know Disney just had it in the vault, so they're like, yeah, we'll just release it. So I was like, why? Like, I didn't understand it. And I was going to skip out on it. And I saw, like, oh, they have a Steelbook 4K, but, I'll miss out on it, I'll miss out.
Is it like a 20-year thing?
I don't think so. I think they literally just had the 4K sitting in the vault, and they're like, hey, let's just release this. Because they did, like, a special re-release a couple years ago, and it was a 4K scan, so they never officially released that. So this is the release of that.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. It was one of those things. And...
I mean, it could be a thing where they were just, like... They had it, and they were like... People seem interested in this. Maybe we should put it out.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad they did, because I was just going to skip out on it, but then I was just scrolling through Best Buy, and I saw that it was still there, like, maybe 2 weeks afterwards, which never happens. Mm-hmm. You know about it. You wanted to get that Halloween Steelbook, and you missed out on it. And then, like, the Back to the Future one, you had to jump on it for the pre-order. And I did the same thing with the Lord of the Rings Steelbook, because I know those Steelbooks sell out. I missed out on the Joker. I remember I tried to get that like a month ahead of time. It was sold out already. So I knew I was going to miss out on the Steelbook of Speed, but then I saw, I was like, they're still there, still in stock. I think it's still is at the time of this recording, May 22nd. But they still had it in stock, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to get that Steelbook. And I watched it. And it was really great. Like, I felt like I was watching a different movie. I don't know how, like, some movies do that, where you just watch, like, a cleaner version, and we're just like, oh, wow. It just hits you different, And it's just so great. It just... Because I love Speed. I know your friend and I kind of got a little tiff on Letterboxd, because he only gave it 3 stars, and I was like, holy shit, like, how'd you give Speed 3 stars? But anyway, that's neither here or there. But it's like, I really love Speed because it's so well done. It's simple. It's a silly premise, but yet it still works. And it's like,
I love it. So you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, like it's really freaking well done. Just like how they introduce some things and they pay off later on. And like, I know it's silly as it is, but when he calls her Wildcat, and then the thing on the bus, like, oh my god, she's Wildcat, and how everything keeps escalating. Like, oh god, we got to get off the freeway. Oh, we went over 50. Oh, he got shot. Oh shit, we got to turn the curb. Oh man, we thought we hit a baby. Oh no, it wasn't a baby. It was just cans. It just keeps elevating the stakes while just staying on the bus. And I love, like, the casting of all the people on the bus. Everyone is fantastic. Like, they all look like people you see on a bus. I love that casting. Whoever did that, fantastic. And they do sprinkle in some people in there. There's one actress who I know from Jurassic Park 3. And then there's another actor in there, Alan Ruck. He's on the bus. Mm-hmm. So they just, like, sprinkle it.
From Ferris Bueller?
Yeah, from Ferris Bueller, yep. And they just sprinkle it with some of these character actors. And it just... it's so great. And even at the end, I had a cool double feature. So I watched the 4K of Speed, and then I watched my recently purchased Collateral right afterwards, and that's a great double feature. Holy hell. I didn't know that was going to work so well. That was a really good one. But
that's a good LA double feature.
And they have some sort of connections, too, because they both have that Metro Rail, and they both have characters named Annie.
Yes, that is factually correct, Frank.
By the way, Collateral is amazing. Except the third act.
Yes.
I actually liked the third act in Speed. I know people have a problem with, like, oh, you gotta speed up the train or whatever, but to me it works. Because, again, it escalates the stakes. Because the stakes keep, going up and up in this movie. And it's great. And they kind of effed it up with the sequel. But I feel like if they did an awesome Speed 3, like, totally do it different. Like, do it like Die Hard, where he has to run around LA and like disarm bombs or some shit like that and solve clues, almost like a Jigsaw sort of villain meets like the Die Hard villain. And
well, it would be the son of Dennis Hopper's character, the long lost, maybe illegitimate, maybe he didn't know he had him, son of Dennis Hopper's character.
You know, I would do a twist. I would make it Harry's son.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it should have been you instead of my dad.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
It's your reason my dad is dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the whole time,
I can see that.
But even like have it introduced, like have it like faked out at the end, like they're like almost like what originally they were supposed to do. Because originally in Speed, in the early drafts, Jeff Daniels was supposed to be the villain.
Really?
Yeah. So I feel like that would sort of repeat that idea, like maybe Harry Temple's son is in the department and he works with Keanu and they seem like friends, you know, and then Keanu gets like these mysterious messages. And they have to solve all these things, and then at the end you find out, and you know the plot's revealed. Like, you fucker, you solved all my things, and I'm gonna have to kill you personally because you solved all my bombs, and it's your fault. You killed my dad, and he's gonna be like, your dad died on the job or whatever. It'd be so good, and then it would just be something like that. I don't know if Sandra Bullock would be in it. I don't think so. I don't think you need her. It would just be about Keanu's Jack Trafford. Just having to deal with like the past, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. That's what I would do.
I can see it.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's my pitch. So if it gets stolen in the next 3 years, someone listens to my stuff. Because
you'll know that somebody actually listened to this podcast.
Well, I know someone listens to me because someone goddamn stole my idea for Watchmen, that TV show. I don't know if I showed you or shared the video with you where I totally pitched Watchmen. The latest TV version, like my whole thing. Yeah, I did this video like because someone said like, if you were to do a TV show, what would you do? And I said, I would have it like a world where superheroes exist, and that the cops get replaced by the superheroes, and they have to wear masks because there's like, something that happens where people start hunting down the superheroes or the cops, because they social media and whatnot, you can know where they live. So the cops and the lawmakers and superheroes all have to wear disguises while they go out and fight crime and solve stuff. And that's exactly what happens in the TV show Watchmen, where one night all the cops get attacked in like a brutal way, so they all start having to hide their identities.
Yeah.
But it was totally stolen. Like, no one else could come up with that. That's crazy. That's like very oddly specific. You know?
It is like, it is, that is to at a point where you're like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a little too on the nose to what I have. So if anyone steals my Speed 3, just name someone Frank. If you name someone Frank, that'll let me know that okay, that was me. Like if it's Frank Temple.
That's the little nod and wink.
Yes. Like if I see that, I'm like, yeah, that's me. Like Bronson, that movie with Tom Hardy. That's a little bit of me right there. He's had enough. Get him out of here. So, did you have any other note that you wrote down to discuss?
No, I did. To be honest with you, I didn't think that far ahead of time.
You're just like me then.
Yeah.
We're just rolling.
But one thing I was going to ask you about, like that I actually just watched before we got on this call, is have you ever seen a movie called The Hitcher?
The Hitcher. Is that the Rutger Hauer?
Yes.
I have not seen that since high school, but I do remember loving it.
Okay. I loved it. Yeah. And it did remind me a lot of Breakdown.
Yes.
Where it's like, guys driving through the desert. In this case, it's a hitchhiker. He picks up a hitchhiker, and dude just like Rutger Hauer like threatens him, so he like kicks him out of the car, and then like Rutger Hauer just like relentlessly goes after him for like an hour plus, and just like, I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, but like I was expecting maybe like a solid like 3-star movie.
No, that's a pretty good movie from what I remember.
But it was like I think it was like a 4-star movie for me.
Yeah.
Like it was along the lines of like Breakdown as far as like quality. Yeah. And similar story. So
yeah, The Hitcher, like I think that just came up on Twitter, or some studio is trying to do a 4K remaster of it.
Oh, of the original?
Yeah. And they don't have the film elements for it. Like, it's hard to find like a good copy of it. So they're going to try to do the best they can for it, to preserve it for 4K.
Oh, was it one of those things where it was like they were putting out like a notice, like, hey, if you know of anybody who has this, was it that kind of thing? Or
I think so. Basically, that was kind of what it was, because they've already looked everywhere in all the different libraries to find a good copy, but like a lot of them were not handled properly, just because it was like one of those cult movies where they would probably show it every night and not give a fuck, how it looked or whatnot. But like, yeah, it was kind of sad to hear that, because I do know how, like, even though not a lot of people talk about it, but I do follow enough like horror fans to know that it's beloved. Like, people love The Hitcher, and it was one of those ones where I kept reading about it in magazines when I was in high school, so I actually bought a DVD copy of it. So now I know that it's basically kind of out of print now, hearing about how they have to clean up the 4K.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
That happened, I think, with Don Coscarelli's Beastmaster like a couple of years ago, and I guess they must have found the elements that they were looking for, because I think Vinegar Syndrome put out like a super deluxe, copy of it.
Yeah.
But I know that like a couple of years ago they were actually putting stuff out on social media, like, hey, like we are looking for like copies of Beastmaster, because, or it may have even been that like they couldn't even find a complete print or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know that there was like a big sort of thing, because I've actually never seen that film, but that's, you were talking about how The Hitcher is beloved, and it's like, I know that there is like a certain crowd of people who love Beastmaster.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of a big deal, I guess.
Yeah, I'm also realizing how much, like, the movie list I gave you, that 101, I'm realizing how many of those movies that I like and, grew up with and love, like, how a lot of them are out of print now, and that kind of makes me sad. Like, you can't find them.
I mean, I think there was probably a good, like, 10 or 15 that, like, I had to get from you.
Yes.
And it's like, because you just happen to have copies. Oh, and I was going to tell you, I don't know how factual this is. It's like, it's from the internet, so it's like, who knows? But like, I was actually looking up, trying to Google to see if I could find out why the original like 1970s Heartbreak Kid is not out on like Blu-ray or even DVD or anything. And I found something online that said like a pharmaceutical company owned the rights to that and like a bunch of other movies, and the original Sleuth was one of the ones that they named in the list of movies that this pharmaceutical company like owns the rights to.
Oh my god.
And apparently what the issue is like they just want more money than any company is willing to put up in order to license it for home video.
That sucks.
So that's why Sleuth is not on like Blu-ray and it's the DVD is out of print and all this other stuff is because there's some company that owns the rights to a bunch of these movies, and they want a fortune, for them. And that's why Dawn of the Dead for a long time was not available on the Blu-ray was out of print, and it was not available on 4K. Was like some guy bought the rights, bought the all the rights to it, and was gonna make it into 3D. And he spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars making it 3D, and then basically like people just completely stopped caring about 3D, and he couldn't release it and recoup his money back. So it's like everybody that comes to him is like, can we release Dawn of the Dead? He's like, yeah, I want like X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, there's no way we would never be able to make money off of that.
Yeah.
So there's an unfortunate, issue with a lot of these films right now where it's like these rando people own the rights to it, so like they want to cash in. Yeah. And Shout Factory and Kino and all these other places, like they can't afford to like pay them what they want and still make any kind of profit off of it.
Right. Yeah, that's man, it just bums me out too, because at the time, I'm so glad I did. I don't know what came over me, but back then when I was in high school, like I had a little bit of extra money. I'd buy like almost any movie I had interest in from FYE. Mm-hmm. So that's why I own Breakdown. That's why I have Alligator, Transformers the movie, totally like a lot of other ones, that are probably out of print or hard to find now. It's just because back then I just bought them all. Even like Dawn of the Dead, where like back then it was probably $5-10, and now it's out of print, and like you can get the Blu-ray now. It's coming out sooner. I don't know if it's out yet, but yeah, I bought tons of movies without even thinking about it. Like even now, Hitcher is probably out of print for like the longest time, and I have it on DVD, and it just amazes me that I'm glad that I had like the foresight or even like consider just saying, hey, I haven't seen this movie before, but I'll buy it anyway. So now I have a huge like DVD library of movies that I love, and now I'm buying movies like I better get that before maybe I won't see it again. Like Last American Hero, I bit the bullet and got that German Blu-ray because who knows when that'll get fixed up. And I'm so happy.
I mean, honestly, movies like that probably never.
Yeah.
Like. They'll probably. I mean, I hate to say that, but like Last American Hero is like it's such a
niche movie,
niche sort of like obscure film that it's like unless some company is like we're gonna release a bunch of like Jeff Bridges movies, like it will probably never see the light of day on like a domestic like region A Blu-ray.
Right. And I lucked out with that King Kong movie. I was almost going to buy the region-free, like, Japanese disc that was, like, almost, like, $87. I was almost going to do that because I love that movie so much. I really do. I love that movie that much where I'm like, I think I'm going to bite the bullet. But thankfully, Shout Factory, released it. And I just watched that recently, and it was so great watching that movie with the extended cut. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that the TV version? Or...
Yeah, the TV version, yep. And it's funny, too, because they repeat some shots because originally it was 4:3, so they could focus on different points of the shot. So there's some repeated shots. I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
Well, see, I actually watched that recently, but I'm pretty sure it was the theatrical cut is on HBO. Yeah. Because, they had Godzilla
Kong
versus Kong.
Yep.
So they had like a bunch of those movies on there. So I watched that. I actually really like it. I think that may be my favorite version of King Kong right now is that 1970s version. I am interested in getting the Shout Factory one just because I do know that it has that extended cut and I've heard good things about it, and it has a bunch of extras on it as well.
Yes. I was really happy with the release because it is my favorite Kong. I'll definitely say that. Even though I do like the black and white one, the 70s Kong is my Kong. The Peter Jackson one is way too goddamn long. It like just for the premise alone, it's too much. That's the meat. Peter Jackson's King Kong is the meat mountain of Kong movies, and then the Kong Skull Island is cool looking, but other than that, it's not really pleasant to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just watched that too. Like that before I left LA, I watched. I think I caught up on like the
MonsterVerse.
No. Yeah, Skull Island, and then there was like the Godzilla that it wasn't the first Godzilla, it was the second
King
Godzilla.
Of Monsters,
yeah, King of Monsters. And then Godzilla vs. Kong came out, so I watched that. But Skull Island was like, it was all right, but it was interesting that they set it like in the 70s, but to be honest with you, it's like I think I was with it for the first like 30 or 45 minutes, and then there's a point where it just sort of becomes arduous, you know, and it's just like you're just sort of sitting there waiting for it to end, basically.
Yeah, I think it's. If I were to just say it, I think it's the point when John Goodman dies, where it's just like, all right, whatever.
I'm out.
Yeah, honestly, it's just
Tap
like,
out.
All right, I'm out. But yeah, it's like the 70s Kong movie is as cheesy as it is. I think it finds the right balance between the cheesiness and then the whole premise and how it genuinely, like, she kind of falls in love with, like, the Kong. Like, it's almost Shape of Water before Shape of Water, if you know what I mean. Like, she really does sort of like fall in love with this giant gorilla. And at the end, it's really sad because I think, like, because it's up to interpretation, but I always interpreted the ending as Jack realizes that she was never in love with him and that she was in love with Kong and that it was never real or something like that. You know what I mean? That's how I get that blank look he gives her at the end, like, oh, yeah, you don't care about me. You were never in love with me. You really love Kong. And yeah. I don't know. That's the reason why I don't know. It's like the Beauty and the Beast thing. Like, literally. Oh, as we're talking about this, R.I.P. Charles Grodin.
Yeah. Which I actually, one of my friends, you made a crack at the poster, but one of my friends recommended to me this movie called The Lonely Guy.
Oh yeah, where it looks like a fucking shitpost. It looks like someone made like a meme of a poster or something like that.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not shitting on the movie. I'm just talking about the poster itself. Yeah.
The poster totally looks like somebody took a bunch of like various pieces and sort of like glued them together.
Yes.
But Grodin's really good in that too. He's sort of like he's like sort of a side character.
Yeah.
But he just has this like amazing like deadpan delivery, and I know that that's kind of like. I know that that's kind of the thing with him. Yeah. But he's just absolutely incredible in that. Yeah. As well.
Like man, he was like probably a big part of my childhood. Like of course Clifford and Beethoven, and then like when my teens I finally watched Midnight Run. Like he was there. He was like one of those
so
dudes.
good in Midnight Run.
Oh my god, the litmus test. Like holy shit, that is so funny. When they don't have money. So they go to check out and pretend like they're making fake bills. Like, this one's a fake bill. We need to take all these 20s. It's so great. And he does that deadpan thing where he's, like, dead serious, even though everything he says is freaking hilarious. And then, like, I still haven't seen it yet, but I really want to watch Ishtar.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
I've never seen that before. And, like, it's weird because all my life, up until maybe, like, the last, like, 5 or 6 years, I had always heard that Ishtar was like a horrible movie. And then all of a sudden there's been this like critical like reappraisal of it, and people are like, no, actually it's actually like really good. It's actually good.
Even Tarantino said that, I think.
Yeah. And so now I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. I mean, I haven't watched it yet, but like at some point in time I'm going to watch it. So
as Steve Rogers once said, it's on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list. Do you like Walter Matthau?
I know his movies when he's the old, grumpy old man. I know those movies more than when he was younger. When he was younger, I know California Suite. I know Charlie Varrick, and I know Pelham 123. Oh, and Hopscotch. So I guess I do know him. I think that's most of his filmography, now that I say it out loud. Because to me, I was like...
You're literally just, you're literally like naming different periods of his filmography. So it's like, yeah, you know him enough.
I know him enough, yeah. Because I was a little worried, I'm like, maybe I just know his silly comedies, but I'm like, no, that's most of his filmography.
So there was a movie that I watched just recently it was on Criterion Channel, but it might show up on something else like HBO or something. But if you ever get a chance, it's called A New Leaf.
Ooh.
And he It was okay. So it was written and directed by Elaine May.
Oh, is that the one where it's like on the poster is like them and like there's like all these characters and it's like them? I forget what the names are.
Yes, that is the poster. Yeah, but she was the woman who played his wife in California Suite.
Yes, that was why I'm like, ooh, I want to check that movie out. So I have heard of it. I've seen it on the Twitters.
Yes. So I watched that movie recently, and I thought it was hilarious, like absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, because they do have good chemistry in California Suite, so that's why I'm like, oh, I want to see it.
Yeah, she plays sort of like a bumbling heiress, essentially. Yeah. Like she's a botanist by trade, but she has some family connection to money where she has a lot of money. And he plays a heir, but he's somebody who's like spent all of his money. Yes. So he has to find someone to marry so he can get back into money. Yes. And dude, it's just hilarious. You got to watch it.
Yes, I need to watch that because now that I've realized, I'm a Walter Matthau fanatic. Yes. Oh, speaking of which, I believe Bad News Bears is coming on Blu-ray this year, which I'm shocked that it wasn't already.
I think it's already out. I thought it was already out.
Ooh, okay. I knew it was supposed to come out at some point this year. That's all I knew. I didn't know what time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I need to
There
pick
was... Yeah, I thought I saw... I might be wrong, but I thought I saw a thing about that.
Because last year, I think I sent a tweet. I'm like, I can't believe Bad News Bears isn't on Blu-ray. And then like a week or two later, they announced that it was coming out or, coming out soon at some point.
Yeah, so it is out right now.
Oh,
yeah,
good,
it's,
sweet.
It's like $15 on Amazon.
Ooh.
Blu-ray with digital code.
Ooh, nice. Those are always cool. That's why I have Vudu on my phone now.
Yeah, dude. I love the fact that they're doing digital codes too, because I really prefer to like have the physical media and to watch the physical media.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have like I guess you do Vudu, I do like the movies anywhere.
Yes.
And
it's the same thing. You can connect the accounts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that way it's like, I mean, if you're at somebody's house and they have like an Apple TV or something, you can like cast it from your phone onto their TV. Yep. So, or you can just watch it on your phone or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. When I got this new Jurassic Park Monopoly, so when we play Monopoly, we actually have my Jurassic Park playing on like my phone as we're playing it. Because we played it out. We played it outside the other day, so we just had Jurassic Park playing on my phone while we're playing Monopoly. It's a cool game. It's a different version. It's where what do you call it? You're playing a normal version of Monopoly, basically, kind of, but instead there's a T-Rex going around the board. So whenever the T-Rex passes you on the game board, you have to pay $50, and then like all the properties you have, like if he lands on your property and you don't have a fence, you have to pay for the repairs. It's stuff like that. It's really cool. I like the twist of it. So those game board players out there who are listening to this, I highly recommend the new Monopoly Jurassic Park. It's a lot of fun. Except don't play it with the roads, and don't play it with the control room, because I don't get why those are there. Those are game killers. Because like whenever he lands on the road, you have to pay like a ginormous fine, and it's like, that's stupid. And then the control room, it's so stupid. Like if he lands on there, then you have to pay to repair that. It's like, what the fuck? You can't protect it. So what? It's just a game killer. It's to make you lose money faster, I think. So those are no fun. I recommend the game, but just don't play those.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we did. We listened to that. And let's see. Speaking of copies and movies, I think you mentioned it. You said back in the day, Steve Martin, which made me think like, oh yes, that just reminded me of today. So my mom was like, oh, there's a movie coming out. I want to see it. It's got actors we like in it, but I don't know what it's called. It's got words. It's got an actor. He's in that thing. And I was like, oh, that's real funny. So then finally the movie came out this weekend, and it was called Here Today, I think, or Here Now. It has Billy Crystal and Tiffany Haddish. And that's all I needed.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's like, that's all I needed to hear. I'm like, all right, Billy Crystal, Tiffany Haddish, I'm there. I'll see it. And she's like, did you watch the trailer? I'm like, no, I'm not watching the trailer. I'm just going to see it. I'm buying the tickets now.
Going in cold.
So I went in cold, today at the movies, and of course, you know, it's COVID safe. There's only one other person in the theater, and it was a movie. That's all I'll say. That it was enjoyable. I liked it. I laughed, but it was one of those movies that feels like a movie. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. Like if you were to watch like a Last Action Hero and there was a movie playing in the movie, that's the movie.
Oh.
Something like that, along those lines.
So the whole thing was like that.
Yes, it's very much like that. Because there's like a line towards the end where he says the title of the movie, and I'm like, oh, it really is one of those movies. Because he's like, I'm here now. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the title of the movie. Oh, shit. But yeah, there was like a certain point where I was with it. I was accepting for what it was, but then there was like a certain point I'm like, oh, this feels like a movie. This feels like a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just, from that point on, it just felt like that for the rest of the movie. But it was still entertaining, and it was nice to see Billy Crystal back, and that was the whole reason why I went to see it, because, like, Billy Crystal's one of those weird people where it's like, he's sort of like Martin Short, where, like, you know he's funny, but, like, if you were to ask what's your favorite Martin Short movie, you don't really have a favorite Martin Short movie, or if you say
well, you do.
Oh, of course I do. I'm just saying, but like for you, I'm like, if I were to ask Stuart, I'd be like, Stuart, what's your favorite Martin Short movie? You'd be like, I don't know. And
Three Amigos.
Yeah, see, yeah, exactly. And then like, if I were to ask you what's your favorite Billy Crystal movie, you'd be like, I don't know. You know what I mean? He's one of those people.
City Slickers.
Because it has Gyllenhaal in it. I get it.
You know me too well.
But yeah, like I just wanted to see Billy Crystal again, and it was nice to see him again. And there were certain points where he does this thing with his voice where he sounds like Mike Wazowski, and I love it. That thing is a killing machine. Perfect. Wonderful. But, of course, you know me.
He knows who his audience is.
Oh, yeah. It's me.
It's you and your mom and the one other person that was in that theater. Yes,
because all three of us probably love Analyze This and have been waiting 20 years for his triumphant return to the screen. Oh, and have you seen the latest Tyler Sheridan movie, Those Who Wish Me Dead?
I have not. I've been trying to figure out if I want to make that my return to movies or if I want to just watch it on HBO.
Knowing you,
so
I want your first movie back to the theater to be special, so I would recommend you watching it HBO Max. Even though I did enjoy it, I did like it. It hit me emotionally harder than it should have, but if I'm talking to Stuart, I want Stuart's first movie back to be special, and I don't think it hits that. It doesn't hit that mark.
Yeah. It's no Wind River is what you're saying.
No, it's not. It's no Wind River. It's closer to, oh my gosh, like I almost want to say The Edge, but The Edge is really good. You know what I mean? I can't say The Edge. I don't know. It's okay. It's like a very, like, if I could say something, it's like a very good like episode of like a TV movie. It's a very good TV movie. If that makes sense. Like after you watch it, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's what Frank meant. But yeah, I want your first movie to be back special. I wanted it to be like freaking, oh my God, who knows? Like, what's coming out? What's coming out this year? Do we even know?
Dude, I don't know. Like, I'm so disconnected from all that stuff.
Yeah, because that's like, what, yeah.
But I will say that, like, right now they're playing, there's my art house, foreign film, independent film theater here in Nashville. It's called the Belcourt.
Yeah.
And they are playing The Last Picture Show and 8.5. And
then that should be your return to the theaters.
I have thought about going to one or both of those. So
yeah, I would.
Those are very like movie movies.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I think if Stuart should go back to the movies, that's what you should open up with.
And I have never seen. I don't know if I've ever seen Last Picture Show on the big screen, but I know I have never seen 8.5, and 8.5 is like a pretty epic film. So
yeah,
it would be a good one to see on the big screen.
I think you should do that. Don't make it Those Who Wish Me Dead. Yeah.
I will take your advice then, and I will watch it on HBO.
Yeah, I think it's a good call for you. I'm glad we had this conversation first. Because I would hate for you I would hate for you to be cooped up in LA for a whole year and then going back to the movies and it's that.
Yeah.
Even
That's
though
your
I did
first time out.
Even if I did like it, I don't want it to be that. Because to me, because to be honest with you, Stuart, I don't consider myself ever left the theater because when the movies were open in Pennsylvania, we drove right down there. We drove to Pennsylvania. So my first movie back, quote unquote, back to the movies was Unhinged with Russell Crowe. And
wow, okay.
That was awesome. It just felt like a grimy grindhouse movie that somehow got released on the big screen. Mm-hmm. I love that. And then I think a couple weeks later we saw Tenet and I was like, I prefer Unhinged. I don't know why. I think I like the cheesiness, the grittiness, and the grossness because it's Russell Crowe is so bloated in that movie. It's amazing. He looks like over medicated bloat. And I don't know how he did that, but it's awesome. And let's see. Since then, I saw Empire Strikes Back on the big screen. Oh my god, I cried.
Oh wow, I'm jealous.
I cried so hard during that. Oh my god.
I actually when I think I was 17, and they were showing the original. They had re-released the original trilogy or something.
Yes, I missed out on that as a kid.
I ended up seeing Empire. In my opinion, and I know that I am probably in the minority on this, but in my opinion, Empire is the best of the original trilogy.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people think that.
I feel like I've met a lot of people who are like, oh, New Hope all the way.
Because to me, it's the New Hope all the way. I'm a New Hope guy.
But so that's the only one that I've ever seen on the big screen, and I would love to be able to see all three of those on the big screen.
Yeah,
I'm
sure your theater will do it. Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Hopefully, at some point in time. I know one of the AMC's over in a neighboring town was showing Top Gun. And I really wanted to see that on the big screen, but they were showing it during the week at 4 p.m.
Oh jeez.
And it was I was because I'm in kind of a weird position with my job where it's since I'm working remotely, I could leave if I wanted to and just make up the time later.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's I don't know whether I want to drive 30 or 45 minutes over there, watch Top Gun, which is 2 or maybe 2+ hours, and then have to drive back, and then I gotta make up
Yeah.
half a day.
Yeah.
So it's but
that's understandable. Yeah.
I will say that I'm so excited and I'm very happy that these movie theaters are showing these older movies in the theater.
Yes.
And I really hope that they continue to do that after sort of people make a bigger and broader return back to movies. I still hope that they stick with, I know that they can't do it all the time, but at least do it, at least have 1 or 2 a week, you know, and showings that people can actually go to, not noon in the middle of the day.
Yeah, have
on
during
a
the
Tuesday.
weekend. Yeah. Throw Back to the Future in there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't. Was there a broader topic that I think we were just talking about going back to the movies, right?
I was just listing off all the movies I was seeing. I saw Casper and Exorcist on the same day.
Casper. Wow, that's quite a double feature.
Yeah, because we went to Erie, PA to see Exorcist because we're oh shit, we got to see that on the big screen.
Oh yeah.
And then we're well, we can make the 5 p.m. for Casper, so let's go see that. So we drove back home and we saw Casper for that night, and it was a perfect double feature. I don't know why. It was so fun to watch both of them. That was the day. That was the day where I was dressed like Freakin' in front of the theater.
You cosplayed for The Exorcist.
Oh, I did. I was I'm going as Freakin'. Hell yeah. And then I'm trying to remember what other movies. I know I did see Wonder Woman 84. Oh, The Courier with my best friend, Benedict Cumberbatch. To me, I can't really take him seriously anymore. To me, it's like going to it's like going to a local production and your friends in the cast. I don't know why, but I feel like Benedict Cumberbatch is like my friend. He's like Red Letter Media. You know how you watch it? He's like, yeah, they're my friends. They feel like my friends. I think it's just because of that movie, Star Trek Into Darkness. That movie was so special to me and my mom, even though it's not that great of a movie. But we went to see that like maybe 2 or 3 times in the theater, and then we went on vacation. And since we go on like a cruise ship, they only show like certain movies, and that was the year or that part of the year where they released Star Trek Into Darkness. So that's all they kept playing like in a loop at different times of the day. So we were like to us, we're like, Cumberbatch, we're there. He's our friend. We got to go support him.
I went on a cruise one time, and 2 of the movies that they were I don't remember all the movies that they were playing, but 2 of the movies that they were playing was Fever Pitch.
Oh my
with
God.
Drew Barrymore
and Jimmy Fallon,
and it was the Triple X sequel that has Ice.
Oh,
Cube.
that was the movie where I gave a bad review. Like, I love dumb action, but that movie was dumb. That movie was
terrible.
dumb. It was terrible. Like,
I watched it because I had nothing else to do,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is awful, but literally I'm going to watch it because I have nothing else to do.
Yeah, I had that on Vudu, and it was like the free with ads. I'm like, I've always wanted to see this. Let me watch it with free with ads. And it was like, it was so bad. I was like, holy shit, I thought it'd be like cheesy or something I could use for my mashups. But it's just shit. I don't even remember the plot. I just remember it being shit. It was so bad. Oh, and the movie recently, I'm going to, this will be the last topic because I think I got to wrap it up soon. But the movie I seen recently, and I think you'll like my review of it, was Wrath of Man. Where the movie actively avoided being great.
Oh, yeah, I remember that review. I love that line. That was such a funny line.
It actively avoided being great because, like, I hate to be so generic, but it kind of goes like this in the third act. It's one of those movies where it's a generic revenge movie where someone kills this kid, and at the end he does the whole speech like, "I'm gonna take your lungs, your heart, and your liver," and that's it because that's how his son died. And it could have been so much more than that. I'm so pissed. Like the first act is very gung-ho, cocksure, almost seems like generic action movie. And I love that part. And then there's a twist in the middle where you see like, oh shit, this guy is actually a gangster who lives in LA and his son was killed by these anonymous thugs. So he goes throughout LA like hitting like every club and hitting every gang member just to see who the fuck did this hit and who killed his son. And then he finds out that like he does like undercover jobs to figure out who did it. Like it must have been an inside job. And then the third act goes so fucking generic. So generic revenge movie where I'm like, oh my god, you just fucked it up. You just fucked it up. What happened? It's like they played it so safe and by the numbers for the third act. I actually walked out of the movie thinking like, what the fuck? Like you teased me, you played with me, you made me believe, and then the third act was so fucking generic.
You made me believe.
Like seriously, like it was like, oh my god. Whenever it comes out, I really think you should just check it out just to see how like, oh, this is interesting. It's getting good. This is like they're putting a twist on it, and then just to see how fucking like safe and dumb it goes. I can't even say dumb because it's not dumb. It's just generic. It is so safe by the numbers. Even like me, my mom was like not shouting, but she kept saying like, "Oh my god, it's his guys, right? There's a twist. It's going to be his men, right? The men were involved with this. It's Jason Statham's, guys." And it wasn't. She was like, for the longest, like she looked at me. She said, "I thought it was going to be his guys. What happened?" It really was just these generic army men. What the fuck? Like she thought there was going to be something more. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, oh, there's a GPS on the truck. Jason Statham's going to meet them. It's going to be great. And then, nope, that didn't happen. I'm like, okay, no. They're going to drive out and they're going to run into Jason Statham's henchmen and they're going to get killed by them. This is what's going to happen. It doesn't happen. And then it ends with that fucking generic scene where the guy's at home relaxed, thinking he got away with it with his bag full of money, and then Statham comes out of nowhere, and then says, "I'm going to take your heart, your lungs," blah, blah, and then just ends. I was like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" It was almost not. It was almost like a direct-to-DVD ending movie. Like, that's how bad it went. And it shocked me that everyone online was like, "Oh, this is pretty good. Oh, this is pretty good." Yeah, if you watch, like, the first, like, 40, 50 minutes, yeah, it's pretty good. But then that, like, last, like, 30, 40 minutes is just like, oh, my God. It's so generic. It disappointed me. But, yeah, I think that'll be, like, this last subject of the episode. Because it is getting late here. It is 9:30, so I have to wrap
Night has fallen.
Night has fallen, and I can't see anymore. And I think we have a good length. We're at like 2 hours, 8 minutes. So there's definitely an episode here. Like, I have confidence in this one.
Hey man, if you can't find some golden nuggets in this one, I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly. There's definitely golden nuggets. There's gold in them there hills. One day we should talk about Red Letter Media, honestly, and just like pick our top 5 episodes or something. I don't know. We need to talk about that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't know. Like, I like the idea of top 5 episodes, but at the same time, like, I feel like there might be a lot of overlap.
Oh yeah, that's why we do it like Rich and Mike. If there's overlap, we just go to our next pick.
Oh yeah, alternates. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's what's I find so funny is that I remember I did my like 5 least liked episodes, but now one of those episodes is like my silent like favorite now, which is Twister's Revenge. Twister's Revenge is like my silent favorite now.
What made you change your mind on that?
Because there's like a lot of great little moments in that episode, especially the opening. Oh, what you got there? Oh, nothing here. I just got a blue pap ribbon. Go Badgers. And which camera do we use? Oh, there's like 4 different cameras, and I like the smoking baby. I like the old man pa, and I love the Bat Boy. It's just great.
Yeah.
So I'm Frank,
and I'm Stuart,
and thank you for listening to this latest episode of Pilot. And hopefully it's out soon, and we'll do this whenever we have free time again.
Now that we don't have a 3-hour time difference, you know.
Oh yeah, it's so much easier.
You know. Yeah, maybe we could, if you have time even during the week, maybe we could do it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So this has been fun, Stuart.
Have a good night.